Hey, what's up, guys? Watchful Stoic here. It's a Monday on a bright afternoon. I am not as big into clear skies, sunny days, but you know, I'm more of the gray skies guy. I like gray, cloudy days, or even just rainy days, or if there is going to be like sunshine poking through, I like to have lots of clouds. You know, but right now it's clear skies with a bright sun, and a lot of people like that. It's not my favorite, but it's still a beautiful day. Um, Before I jump into the topic, please like, share, comment, subscribe. I'd love to hear from you guys. I'd love to get some comments from you guys. Uh, so show some love and share something with me. Talk to me. Ask me a question or make a comment, or I'd love to hear back. So the topic I have for today is there's a phrase that I really do not like, that's I find to be very intellectually dishonest, but it has a certain degree of relevance. It's when people say my truth, or my truth, his truth, her truth. Truth itself is objective and can't be subject to relativity. So someone saying my truth, it's not a correct thing to say. It's not good. There's my experience, which is a significantly more intellectually honest. My reality, my perception of reality is a better way to say that. There's a book that I tried to read it, and then the guy started referencing himself in other books he had read, and he says, if you haven't read this book, if you haven't read one of my other books, then you're not going to get this next part. And then I just kind of closed the book from there. I said, all right, cool, whatever. I haven't read his other book, so I'm not about to go digging down a rabbit hole for concepts that he can't just simply explain. If he's not able to explain it in the book that I'm reading, then I'm not all that interested in reading further. But the first part of the book did have some relevant points that I do appreciate. If you want to look for the book, the book's name is Seeing Things as They Are. But the basic premise is that there is objective reality, and then there's what we see, so our perception of that reality. Now, our perception of that reality becomes affected by our past experiences. For example, if you do not like broccoli, and you've had really negative experiences with broccoli, anytime you see broccoli, you're going to have negative feelings about that broccoli. Regardless of how nutritious, delicious, or good for you that broccoli is, you will have a negative experience with that broccoli. Versus someone that likes broccoli, or someone that likes another food. Just because we all like pizza, most of us anyway. Some of us are vegan, and I don't judge you for. Actually, I don't know, that's not true. I judge vegans, except for one guy. There's a guy I knew that was vegan for political reasons, and I could respect that. I'd never heard any other individual say that they were vegan for political reasons, but you know what? Props to that guy. And I think he tried to explain it to me once, and it had something to do with like the trade, U.S. violating certain trade agreements with Southern American countries, and that's why he was vegan. And I thought, okay, cool, that's neat. But I respect that guy, but I don't. I have a lot of judgment for other vegans, but you know what? We all make mistakes, so I don't don't hold that against anybody. And, you know, if someone asks me for a vegan meal, I will do my best to give them something vegan. But there's just something about meat that I just can't give up, you know? It's delicious. Anyway, seeing things as they are, observing objective realities is very difficult to a normal individual. To your average individual, I guess, I would say. If we're defining normal as average, you know, let's go ahead and just use normal and average interchangeably here. A normal perspective on reality is going to be tainted by experience. Examining a fresh reality, if you will, is very, very difficult to do in an unbiased manner. Because if your solution to things has always been put some nails in it and throw some plywood up and make the problem go away, that's what you're going to rely on. If your experience is, let's talk about it and, you know, figure out why this thing exists, then that's going to be your go-to, you know, perception of reality. So when you're coming across different and unique situations in your life and different problems in your life, you don't always have you shouldn't necessarily use a catch-all for your issues, because some outcomes are going to be better than others, and some outcomes are going to be more beneficial to yourself than others. But just because it's going to be good for you doesn't mean it's necessarily good for everybody or good for all people. So when it comes to a utilitarian standpoint, what is best for you and what is best for others, you have to observe and decide what to do. You have to make different judgment calls. So observing different realities. If I'm not making sense, tell me. I think I'm making somewhat sense, but I guess let's try to slow it down here. You perceive reality in a certain manner. You interpret it in a certain manner. You react in a certain manner. You react in the way that you would react. So me, I'm going to react the way I react. A normal person reacts how a normal person reacts. You have a abnormal situation, someone's going to react abnormally. That's just how it goes. If I encounter a abnormal situation and I react normally, that is not what an average person would do. That's simply just me rolling with the punches, I guess, or ignoring the situation. Understanding why people believe what they do starts from understanding that people experience different realities, people have a different appreciation for reality. So people's perception of the truth changes based off of their past experiences. I was on Facebook today. There was a guy talking about how counseling and psychotherapy, psychology is really just it's a hobby for spoiled rich kids. And I talked to him and I said, look, it's for people that need help, genuinely need help. And so, good for you that you don't have to rely on psychology or counseling or anything like that. But, some people do. And, of course, he thought that was humorous, that was a humorous response, and a bunch of people started roasting him later. I didn't roast him. I don't partake in that. as much as I want to. I mean, I enjoy roasting people, but, you know, I tend to get carried away. So you know, I got to lay off of that as much as I can. But his reality, his appreciation of reality, rather, his view of, his perception of how things are, does not match with what a normal person would experience. And I don't think my perception, maybe, I guess my perception matches what what normal people would think in that regard. But, you know, as far as my political perspectives, I would say I have an abnormal perspective of the political realm compared to others. I'm not going to dig into what my political beliefs are because I don't think that's necessarily appropriate here. But some, you know, I guess if we want to compare right wing and left wing, you know, political ideologies, you know, there's right wing generally says less taxation, and, you know, because less taxes means people get the opportunity to make more financial choices for themselves, and it's less burden and regulation on the flow of money, which can result in a lot of inequity. So there is the downside of there's the possibility of more inequity, of greater inequity. Versus the left wing, they say, okay, we need controls on the flow of income so that there is as little inequity as possible. Which, on its face, seems to be genuine. And I have faith that there are a lot of left-wing individuals who are very genuinely kind people that want less suffering in the world. But similar to, and this could be said for right wing and left wing, there's a lot of people that hijack these political ideologies for their own benefit. But people have different perspectives on life and the way things ought to be done. So what does this have to do with stoicism? All right, bring it. What does this have to do with the price of tea in China? You cannot control other people. You cannot control what they think. You cannot control what other people believe. You cannot control what other people experience. You can only control how you react to your own experiences. You don't necessarily get to choose what your experiences are. You have some degree of choice on what your experiences are. Like, okay, I'm gonna go to the store. So you going to the store, you're altering the flow of your experiences by including the store at that moment. But your experiences are only yours, and they are not anyone else's. And everyone else's experiences are only theirs and never yours. There is a lot of different experiences that can be related between one another. You know, like I said, a lot of people like pizza. I think we can safely assume that pizza is a very popular food item in America, especially. You know, and I'm sure overseas, yeah, definitely in Italy. But people can agree. Pizza is delicious. Normal people can agree. Pizza is delicious. So, in that respect, there's a lot of things that are good, or bad, or neutral, or it doesn't matter. There's a lot of things that we can all agree are that way. But on a lot of things that matter, people go in different directions. Whether people are monotheistic, polytheistic, atheistic, Some people believe in a flying spaghetti monster. Some people think there is a God, but he just doesn't care. There are these, various religions as an example. Figure out what's best for you and stick to it. Don't judge other people for what they believe. Don't judge other people for what they want to do. Don't judge other people for what other people's goals are, unless those goals are dangerous. I think dangerous ideologies should be exposed and destroyed. Previous video, I talked about a guy who, he made it a point to go out and hurt people for his own pleasure. I think that kind of ideology ought to be exposed and destroyed as much as possible. Oh, I got hiccups. But in any case, don't judge others for where they're at, and what they think, and what they believe. Judge them for what you should judge people on is how they behave, and whether or not that is a direct, whether or not that's a dangerous or not dangerous. I think if it is dangerous to you and to people you care about, you need to take action. If it's not dangerous and it's simply they're expressing their opinion, or they are causing mild discomfort, you can stomach it. You can suppress your not necessarily suppress, but control your emotions so that you don't react rashly. But in any case, I'm gonna leave it there. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I love you guys. Talk to me. All right. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Okay. Bye.